Hi everyone, Nick here, and today we've got another bumper package of serious racing league action. We've got two races this time out. The first coming from the circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal and the Canadian Grand Prix, and then it's the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi for our second race. Now these are two tracks that I do actually quite like. I've had mixed results at them in the past, but my pace this time out seemed okay. So after the last few races, let's just be polite and say didn't go to plan. Could I get back on track and bag a couple of strong results?
Alright, what have we got? It's dry.
Oh, what race?
Oh, for fuck's sake! Drying out.
Yep, another weather affected race here in Canada.
Well, it doesn't matter.
So the race itself was going to start heavy rain and then dry out. I still decided to go for a full dry setup though. Main thinking was in Brazil I decided to gamble and go for a wet setup, and the rain never came. So in this case I thought I'll go for the dry setup, hopefully it'll help me in quali, get a decent qualifying lap, and then in the race hopefully the rain won't be too bad. Hopefully it will stop nice and early. Hopefully most of the race will actually be in dry conditions, or at the worst intermediate conditions. So far this qualifying lap's gone pretty well. I haven't invalidated, and as we come up to the end of sector 2 I haven't done any purple sectors or anything like that, and we've locked up a little bit of a hairpin, but my strongest sector is the third sector. My dry setup around here is quite slippy down the straights. So as long as I could get an okay final chicane, this could be decent. Let's see how it goes. Textbook. So as we cross the line, we finish.
Whey!
DQs everywhere.
So my first pole of the season. That'll do me nicely. Only 87 thousandths ahead of Tony, and it was hard to know who was on a full wet setup, full dry setup or compromise. But as the race was starting on inters, turn 1 was going to be interesting.
Oh, sorry. You've straightened me up, thank you.
Oh, such a pussy there.
Can't see anything.
Oh, watch out. I was aggravating. This was weird.
Alright, let's focus now for the rest of the race.
Drive number 1. Yeah. Oh, had to hit me. Look. Oh, I need to come past. I'm gonna have to stop.
No.
How do you have to stop?
Oh wow, what wins you got? Oh, I'm 5'10". That's no.
So lap 1 hadn't gone overly well, but at least we knew that it was only going to get drier from here on. Lap 2 didn't start great though.
You can get fucked.
Once I actually worked out how to brake into turn 1 though, my pace wasn't too bad. You can see Tony does the fastest lap with a 122.3 and I'm doing a 122.5, so my pace there, you know, keeping up with the leaders there, which for an intermediate track and me isn't usually the case. Anyway, by the end of lap 14 it had pretty much dried out and DRS was enabled as we all went down the back straight. That meant everyone knew they were supposed to pit on this lap. So the big question was, what tyres did you go for? Originally I was going to go for softs, as you can see in the bottom right hand corner, but as I was entering I switched to hards. Not sure how my pit crew managed to react to that, but the hards went on, and that was the case of both Jerome and Tony in front of me, but not Kev. Now unfortunately for me, my pace on the hard tyres on the now pretty dry track was not good. I was really tentative into some of the corners, we really slow through that hairpin, and when we got to the end of this lap you can see that Tony's doing a 1:15, Kev's in the 1:13s, and when I cross the line I am in the 1:16, so I'm losing chunks of time here. It just took me a long time to get my confidence, but eventually it came. I got roughly back on the pace of the leaders, and on lap 27 Kev pitted for his final stint. As he didn't go on hards, he had to make another stop. Now of course that meant he lost track position, but he was on soft tyres compared to our old hards, and I think you know how that's going to go. So by lap 30 he was right on my tail. Final lap now, and both Kev and Jerome ahead of me have got 3 seconds more penalties than me. Jerome shouldn't be too tricky to get here, but could I get Kev as well?
Might as well.
Not even clear with your, well, that.
No. Not far off. I'll take it.
We did get a bit of post-race entertainment as well.
Who's this?
Yeah, Hom's ghosting at the moment, so it's going to be pointless.
Oh. What the fuck is this?
So there we go. 3rd place,
Not at the end.
not too bad. I was only a total of 16 seconds off the lead, and if I hadn't cut one corner I'd have got myself second. Anyway, on to the next race at Abu Dhabi. Now I'm sure you'll be surprised to hear that neither qualifying nor the race here was going to be in any way rain affected. I know, who'd have thought? A race in the desert in Abu Dhabi not having any rain. I know, I was shocked too. But we're okay here in terms of pace, and you can see there that we've done a purple first sector. And as before, again, my setups tend to be quite good in a straight line, which means sector 1 and 2 here I'm pretty strong at. Sector 3, less so. But let's see how we can do. Braking here is really important. You don't want to lock up, which I haven't done. Haven't touched the curb too much on the inside there, and we've been able to get on the throttle nice and early. Maybe went a little bit wider and put a wheel on the curb, which isn't a great idea. And then you've got this corner here where we're going to go in there. Locked up. We've taken a little bit of each of the curb, been a little bit more careful than normal because we don't want to get invalidated. And as we go through the 3rd sector, this is where we're going to struggle. You see massive lock up, bit wide through there. We get the apex here, and we've got a few corners left to go. We're still within a good chance of getting a good quali here though. 2 corners to go, lob it into that penultimate corner. Final corner, don't lock up, get it turned, throttle down and get to the line, and we are 3rd. So just under half a second off of pole there. Slightly disappointed, but I don't know. I mean, I'll take 3rd on the grid. You've got a decent chance from there. Anyway, only got a decent chance if I can get a good start, would I?
Oh,
What is going on? What's going on?
On your left.
yeah, sorry if I'm out of break because Glasgow's taking it really easy to just bit.
Alright, let's focus now for the rest of the race.
You can get a point here for Haas.
This is probably one of the better times to damage because it's a free stop.
So no places lost there. I'm amazed. Didn't go too badly after that either, because by the time that DRS was enabled on lap 3, I was still within DRS range of Hags in front, and Tony wasn't too far ahead over in first either. So at this point I was fairly confident that I could at least fight for the podium, if not the win, which is always a pleasure. Lap 7, and I don't even know how to say this, I think Hags was possibly starting to hold me up, which is very, very rare. His tyres were, I think, starting to go off a little bit, so rather than get held up, I went for the bold strategy and decided to try and undercut him, and came in at the end of the lap. Now, I was going to go for a 2-stop strategy. I've tried the 1-stopper here before. It's just, well, it might work. It's not fun though. Tony did the same as well. He pitted on that lap and we were both on mediums. So the big question was, where would we come out?
Only 1 stop to go. 1 stop left in this strategy.
Oh no, yeah. Oh.
So we'd come out behind Sonny, who was on medium tyres. It was therefore imperative we got past him ASAP.
No, I'm on mediums, but I had to put a fresh mediums because it damage from earlier in the race.
On your left, Sonny.
Hags then pitted from the lead on lap 9, although it didn't go smoothly.
Oh, Hags crashed. Yeah, he must have crashed in the pit lane.
So a crash in the pit lane for Hags not only meant that his pit entry was slow, it meant his pit stop was slow and I was able to jump him. However, he'd gone on to softs, meaning he was doing the alternate strategy. One to look out for later. Anyway, I had Stefano and Jerome in front of me. Tony had dispatched them incredibly quickly, so I needed to do likewise.
Nice work, that brings you up a place.
With Stefano dispatched, attentions turned to Jerome, where there was a slight problem.
Oh no, where's the board markers gone?
Fuck.
I've got no idea where to brake. Fuck.
Yeah.
Sonny. Oh, he's done the ones there as well. Fuck's
I've got 5
sake.
second penalty there.
Fortunately for me though, Jerome pitted at the end of that lap, so he didn't really hold me up too much, and that put me back up into second place. However, at this point I was over 7 seconds off the back of Tony. Remember, we came into the pits together, so that wasn't ideal. At the end of lap 16, Hags was definitely starting to close on me, but then he pitted. which kind of concerned me because I knew he was going to go on to mediums and there is a definite threat of an undercut. So at the end of lap 17 I pitted to go onto softs to the end. Would it work?
Exit now. Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the
Yeah,
track.
Hags has done me. Yeah. He's got mediums, I've gone softs. I can't overtake him though, because I don't know where to brake.
I was able to stay with Hags round the rest of the track, but as I was slowly relearning Sector 2 with no board markers, I was becoming more confident that I could try and attack.
That was good.
Brilliant. Nice move.
One lap, that's why. I feel like that's the whole thing.
No dice there, but would I be able to do better on the following lap?
The battery is low on energy. Reduce ERS deployment.
Quite happy with that move down the outside.
Now I had a different problem though. I had to defend through Sector 2. This was going to be tricky. In the end, my tyres started to go off a little bit and my pace just wasn't quite up to it to overtake Hags. However, he had 6 seconds of penalties and I had none. So as long as I stayed within 6 seconds, second was in the bag.
Yeah.
So there we go, another second place for me there. 12 seconds off of Tony's lead. He seems to be quite good here, winning constantly, but never mind. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. My pace was good throughout that race, and I was having a proper battle with people like Tony and Hags. It wasn't just lucking into it, it was an actual race. And I'm always happy to have an actual race. And it's also really pleasing to get a couple of podiums and a pole position. Definitely more like it. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching and I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, then don't forget to hit that like button. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, then what are you waiting for? You know it makes sense. And let me know below in the comments what you made of the 2 races. Do you reckon I could have done anything differently and got that win? Other than just drive better, I suppose? Answers on a postcard, please. But until next time and the next video, goodbye.